Wop bum Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Wop bum Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Wop. Wop bum Gangnam Style. Korean, no. Korean, nana, no. Baby, oh no, nana, no. Hello, and in today's video we are doing Premier League predictions for match day number 2 of the 2021-22 season, and that is the song of the weekend. It is, of course, Gangnam Style by Psy. Absolute tune, and the theme of the week this time around is Harry Potter. Oh yes, that's right. Snape, Severus Snape, Dumbledore, Snape, Severus Snape, Harry Potter. Ron Weasley. Ron Weasley. Dobby. And also the phrase of the week is, "You're a wizard, Harry." And let's get into them. So looking back at last week, obviously it wasn't ideal, but you know, that first game as well, I thought I would get a correct score, but no. Fair enough, Brentford got the 2-0 dub. They were impressive, and no points for me there especially. But all in all, we're not going to look back on it too much. We're going to focus on this week, and it's going to be an interesting week, that is for sure. And to kick things off, we're going to talk about Brighton versus Watford. Now, this is a winnable game on paper, but unfortunately the game is not played on paper. It's played on football stadiums and on grass at the Amex Stadium. By the seaside, and Brighton will feel they can go fairly strong this season, maybe get top half, or thereabouts, and have a safe enough season. Their issue right now is scoring goals, but defensively they are a solid unit, so it might be a tough nut to crack, Brighton. But in terms of games to get results from, you really have to target a win. If we, look at those from first 3 games, Villa, Brighton, Spurs, you really would have wanted 4 points from those first 2 games. So obviously we'll do what we can, but it would be nice to get a result, to be honest, because it is a game that could go either way. And I think that, fair play, Graham Potter's a very good coach, but we've really got to be on our game when we go there. So it would be nice to see maybe our first time of the season we wear our away kit, lovely red kit with the yellow, black and red, looking a bit like Belgium, but it'll probably be the home kit because there's no reason to clash with the yellow. And then we could always just wear the red kit in the third game against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But this game, I think, will be tight. I think it'll be cagey. Brighton, off the back of that game against Burnley, they know they want to win this one as well. So I think it's going to be a 1-0 Watford win, but I'll take what we can get, and I'm going for a bit of a outsider's choice for the goal. I don't think many people, or at least many Watford fans, will predict this guy to get the goal here at the Amex, but I've gone for it. I've thought, why not? Be a bit outside the box, be a bit creative. So my predicted scorer for this match then is going to be Imran Louaza, the new signing from Nantes, or really it's pronounced, I think it's pronounced FC Nantes. Is it Nantes? I don't know, but I haven't got any French accents. So yeah, that's what I'm predicting. He's a little box-to-box midfielder, and I think he is a flair player for us, so hopefully he goes and does really well. All right, next game up is going to be the one between the teams of Liverpool and Burnley. Now, this is an interesting one. This is the 12:30 kickoff, and it's on BC Sport. Now, the Clarets, of course, ended Liverpool's wicked 68-game unbeaten Premier League home run in that game last season, where Ashley Barnes got a last-minute penalty after a foul from Alisson that was just clumsy, and Barnes put it away, and that was a real shock for Liverpool to lose that game. And then they ended up going on a really bad run, Liverpool, losing to Brighton 1-0, losing to Chelsea 1-0, I do believe. And they also lost 1-0 as well to some other team that I'm forgetting. But Liverpool were pretty awful last season when you think about, how good they have been in the past at home. And, the fans not being there really did hurt them. But the fans will be back for this one. And Burnley actually have beaten Liverpool as well as that game last season. They've beaten them in the past at Turf Moor, but obviously beating them at Anfield is going to be the difficult task. And Liverpool look so strong right now. Ibrahim and Konate and Diogo Jota, especially someone like Roberto Firmino, who seems to always score versus Burnley. But I don't know. I think this could be a really interesting game. I'm going to back Liverpool, though. I think they are the stronger team here, and they will get the job done. So, yeah, it's not going to be a shock on this one. I'm going for Liverpool 3, Burnley 1. And in terms of goal scorers here, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold will get the first goal of the contest. And then the second for Liverpool, it's Mohamed Salah. Who else? But then the third for the Reds, Roberto Firmino. And then late on, Burnley score a consolation goal. And that goal will be converted by none other than, in midfield, Ashley Westwood, who I do believe scored from a corner in an absolute 4-2 thriller a few seasons back. So next up, we have the game that is between the teams of Aston Villa and Newcastle. Now, Villa obviously coming off the back of that Watford game. They've got a home game, so they'll fancy their chances. Newcastle, I don't know with Newcastle. You can never quite know with them. But I think they're going to struggle in this game, Newcastle, because Villa just looks so good going forward. I'm going to say that Villa get a tight win, but Newcastle could make it interesting with, the likes of Callum Wilson and Alan St. Maximan and certainly, Matt Ritchie as well. Has got some attacking qualities. So, yeah, Aston Villa 2, Newcastle United 1 is what I'm going for. And goal scorers this time, I think the opening goal of the game will indeed come from Aston Villa, and that's Danny Ings. And then Newcastle equalise through Jamal Lascelles. But then the winner comes from a man who scored in this fixture last season. It is Bertrand Traore, if he can get the minutes with that very competitive Aston Villa lineup. Okay, next up then, shall we? Let's predict the Palace-Brentford game. And I was really impressed with Brentford against Arsenal. I've got to say, they were completely the dominant team. They deserved that result. I saw a few people back Brentford, and one of those, of course, was the Dugout Football channel in the comments of the last predictions video. Fair play to him, because I went with a 1-1 draw. I did think Brentford would make it tough for Arsenal. I kind of thought maybe Arsenal would play well, but then Brentford would get lucky and nick a point. But yeah, no, Arsenal were completely undone by Brentford's pressing, and their passing was so good. Arsenal just looked, fairly flat. I mean, they had a lot of times in the game where they were dominating spells of it, but Brentford always just seemed to come back and always seemed to have that kind of freedom to roam and get at Arsenal. And yeah, they deserved their lead. Really good goal from Canos. It was great running down, but it's a bit of a mix-up from the defence from Arsenal between Callum Chambers and, of course, Ben White, who just couldn't clear the ball properly, really, between the two of them. And then, yeah, he really shouldn't be getting it in from there. It's a good shot. He's, hit it well. But Leno, maybe he's unlucky because Chambers just kind of blocks his view and it goes through the legs of the Arsenal fullback. So they need to, improve their season, Arsenal. But in terms of Brentford, if they can play like that every week, then, they've got a chance against anyone, which is not ideal, really, for Watford. We wanted a few of these lesser teams, no disrespect to Brentford, to be struggling. But no, it's a season-long thing. Don't read into it at this point. But I do fancy Brentford to get a win here, just because they looked so good in that game. And, you never really fancied Chelsea in that Palace in that Chelsea game. But, yeah, I just feel like, although the Selhurst Park atmosphere is really good for Palace, to kind of get through this game, I just think Brentford just offer more going forward, despite the signings of Elise, who I don't think will play the first game, and also some good defensive signings like Mark Gahey, and they've also got in the kind of attacking part of the pitch some good signings. So I'm backing Brentford, but I think that Palace could easily win this one. Palace 0, Brentford 2, and the goals on the day I think will come this time from, first of all, it's a bit of Ivan Toney to get me those perfect FPL points that we didn't quite get in the Arsenal game, but he was man of the match in that one. He, was looking very sharp and, was just generally not doing a lot wrong. Got good hold-up play, winning a lot of free kicks and, good link up with Brian and Burmo. But then the second goal for Brentford, I think, will come from the attacking fullback, Rico Henry. All right, next up for our predictions is the match between the teams Leeds United and Everton. This is a really fascinating game because I think Everton won't go into this one confident. Obviously, off the back of the Southampton game, I think it's really interesting because Leeds are a team that so exciting to watch, but Everton have their exciting forwards as well. It's just that, obviously Rodriguez missing that game with COVID, and there's just a lot of disruptions in that Everton team right now. They've had a lot of, COVID cases, and obviously the thing that happened with Sigurdsson we won't go into, but it's not good at all. So, yeah, they're a bit disrupted, and, playing Leeds at Ellen Road is never easy. With the Leeds fans behind them, that'll be a really interesting game. But, Everton won there at this point last season, 2-1 win with Calvert-Lewin on the score sheet. I don't think he'll be on the score sheet this time, though, and I think Leeds will get the win. So Leeds 2, Everton 1. And in terms of goal scorers here, I think that Rafinha will get the first one for Leeds United. And I think that actually this second goal of the game will go to Leeds United again. And this time it will be through the forward that is, of course, Bamford. But then Everton do get back a late consolation to at least take away Leeds' precious clean sheet. And that goal, I think, will come from Michael Keane. All right, let's move on to the next matchup. And that is between the teams of Manchester City and Norwich. And I think this is a bit of a no-brainer. I'm going with the Man City win. They've thumped them in the past. I look back and it was like they beat them 7-0 once. They beat them 5-1. It's unbelievable. But they also did win one season on the opening, on the final day of the season. I think Norwich were already up or something, or City had already kind of forfeited the league, not won the title or something like that. Or, yeah, they might have already won the title in that 11-12 season. Yeah, but Norwich somehow got like a 3-2 win and Johnny Howson on the score sheet. But no, in terms of Norwich, they've been dealt a really hard start. And, Man City is going to be probably one of the worst away trips for a team to go to all season because they're just irresistible. And it's getting boring right now. Man City are just too good. But, what can we do? It's the way football is swung these days. And I think that City will get a win, but I don't think they'll get as many as we think they might do. And Norwich will be kind of defensively resolute, but you can't stop this City team. Man City 3, Norwich City 0. And the goals here for the citizens, I reckon, will come from, first of all, Riyad Mahrez. And then the second comes from Kevin De Bruyne, who I think will recover from his injury to be fully fit. And then the third goal scorer, well, it's a difficult one. I think it's between Gabriel Jesus and possibly Jack Grealish, but I'm not sure if Jesus will, start from the off. Let's go with Jack Grealish, and then if not, Jesus. But that will be a very comprehensive win for Manchester City. Anyway, now it's Southampton against Manchester United. And this is another really interesting game. This one, just like the Brighton game, is on Sky Sports. By the way, I forgot to mention, Brighton v Watford, I actually think that both of these teams will actually fancy their chances of winning that game and get themselves to points. But I think it's not usually a fixture that's parred with goals. We saw in the game at Vicarage Road in the 17-18? Yeah, when Britos got sent off, 0-0 stinker. And then obviously in the reverse fixture of that season, a 1-0 win with a Pascal Gross goal. And then obviously 18-19, we had a great win on the opening day. And then, of course, we did nothing in the 0-0 draw away from home. And then, last season, we don't want to talk about it, but it was a 3-0 Brighton win at Vicarage Road. And then, of course, a 1-1 draw in a game that we really should have seen out. An unfortunate own goal from Adrian Mariappa. So, it could go either way, but I'm just hopeful for that match, really. But this kind of game, Southampton-Man United, is a match that is scary for a lot of Southampton fans. On the one hand, they have done some good stuff against Man United in the past. That 2-2 draw at Old Trafford, Michael Obafemi. But also that 1-1 draw against Manchester United, and it was like an early season game for the 1920 season. So, Dan James, Anthony Martial, they could be decent players for this game. But also Mason Greenwood, he's a great talent. He's just so mature for his age. But Southampton know that 9-0 from last season is still on their minds. And, Ralph Hasenhüttl's just got to shore up that defence. With Vestergaard leaving, that does bring itself its own problem. But, Peralda's come in at right back and, they need that kind of holding midfielder. If Ward-Prowse does go, then they'll lose that stability in midfield. So I just feel like this is a game that could either be really tight or really not tight, and Man United absolutely breeze away with it. But I'm going for Southampton to draw this game, which is a bit of a shock, I suppose. But, I think Southampton, going forward, they've got options. Walcott, Adams, and also Adam Armstrong's a really good signing. And Broha could do really well, that they've signed up front. So let's just say that the Saints and the Red Devils are on equal terms. Southampton 2, Man United 2. And I think they won't need reminding what happened last time they played Man United. So let's just say it ended badly, but it might not end as badly this time. In terms of goal scorers in the game, I think the first one will come from Manchester United. And I think it'll actually be this time maybe Cavani, if he's fit, but he probably won't be, to be fair. So I'll say Martial. And then Sancho will get the second goal for Man United, his first ever goal for the club. That's what I'm predicting. I don't think, many Man United fans will expect anything less, to be honest. But it will be a difficult thing for him to adapt, of course, from the Bundesliga. But then Southampton with a fantastic reply from 2-0 down to get the draw. Their goals, I think, will come on the day. First of all, from Che Adams. And then, of course, from the midfield maestro. That is, of course, Oriol Romeu. Okay, let's move on to the next one then, shall we? It is, of course, the game that is between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Tottenham. And I fancy Spurs in this game. Obviously, Nuno up against his former team and returning to his former stadium. That will be an interesting one, as well as Matt Doherty against his former team. But I fancy Wolves. I fancy Tottenham. I think Wolves, obviously that Leicester game was tough, and this is another tough one. But I think Nuno, the way he played against Man City, his team played, and there's everything going on about Harry Kane. So I think they'll just want to stay on the job, keep focused, and get the result. And I think they will do that. So 2-0 win for me for Tottenham. And goal scorers this time, although Wolves will make it tough, and Jimenez will have a decent game, I think Spurs will score first through Son Heung-min, who's looking to really develop that hybrid role without Harry Kane in the team at every single game. But we'll see what happens with that. And then Lucas Moura to get the second one, who scored a fantastic goal in this fixture just a few seasons ago. All right, let's move on to the game that is now between the teams of Arsenal and Chelsea. And this is a big game because, both sides are very looking forward to getting some form of European football. Chelsea, we think they're going to get Champions League, very good chance of challenging for the title. Arsenal, at this point, they take Europa Conference because they just look a bit sloppy. Against Brentford, obviously they had a lot of injuries, and that does make a difference. Aubameyang and Lacazette, when they're in that team, they play differently. But, just looking at the defence, Ben White, obviously it's the first game, you can't judge that much, but he didn't look great, I'll be honest. And Pablo Mari wasn't inspiring. Tierney, though, fantastic. He was up and down that wing all game, really, really attacking and really threatening. So, he didn't really deserve to be on that losing team, as is the case with Emil Smith-Rowe, who was, picking up really nice little pockets of space and driving forward. But obviously, with that shot he made in the middle of the box, he could have, played it wide and played it out the left. But he kind of went for the shot, and then, of course, the Brentford defenders sliding in, and a good save from David Raya. So, Arsenal have got options. They've got youth. They're trying to, get Saka back in, and it was a really nice touch, of course, what happened in that Brentford game when Saka came on. Great to see them applaud, and of course, what happened in the pre-season game, Spurs doing just the same. There's just no need and no room for discrimination, and it's fantastic to see people. There are nice people out there, and they appreciate that. It's not nice for Bukayo, but hopefully he's on the road to recovery now. And I think he will still have a strong season. It's just about getting those minutes into his legs after a long Euros. But I do genuinely think that Chelsea are the stronger team in this one. Chelsea, I think, are much, much closer to challenging. And, Arsenal, although they did beat them very comfortably in this game last season, I think that was a bit of a fluke result. Apologies, Arsenal fans. But he didn't have that kind of playing style that we really got to know at that point. Chelsea under now they have got with Thomas Tuchel. So yeah, I'm going to say Arsenal 1, Chelsea 3, and the goals here I think that probably Aubameyang, but obviously we'll see about his illness. I think if not, then you got to back the man in the middle, and that is Granit Xhaka. Scored a great free kick in this game last season, or maybe it was the season before. I'm pretty sure it was last season. And then the goal that comes for Chelsea, though, to kind of get the pessimism back in the Arsenal ranks, is going to come from not Tammy Abraham. I think he's not going to probably go to Arsenal, but instead, in midfield, it is going to be a bit of Ziyech. No, I'm joking. He's injured. What am I on about? It's going to be Jorginho. And then the second goal for Chelsea. This is another difficult one, but we're going to go for it. We're going to say a little bit of Kai Havertz. And then the third goal for Chelsea, after those Havertz and Jorginho goals, will be from centre-back Thiago Silva. Okay, let's move on. By the way, I'll just let you know that last season, Arsenal completed their first Premier League double over Chelsea since the 2003-4 campaign. So it's been a long time coming. The Blues, of course, finished 4 places above Arteta's Gunners last season, but Arsenal, they're on a 4-game unbeaten run against their London rivals in all competitions. And actually, they were really good away from home, Arsenal, last season, but they need to improve their home form. And obviously, with fans back at the Emirates, whether that means it gets on their backs or that actually does improve their form, we shall see. But they certainly didn't really show the form against Brentford. I guess you want to start stronger attacking trio against Chelsea, but I just don't know if they've got enough players fit really. So yeah, I think Arsenal are doing well in all competitions against them, but this is obviously not including that friendly that they had earlier in the month. And they, of course, won this fixture 3-1. I said 3-0. Apologies. It was 3-1 because actually a goal from Abraham came in, but it didn't mean anything. Really, nothing more than a consolation. But it'll be interesting to see, obviously, the rumours with him. So I think the home team should be confident, but their confidence probably was sapped from that Brentford game. And yeah, that's why we're going with a 3-1 Chelsea win. I think I said the third Chelsea goal scorer. Yeah, Thiago Silva. Okay, now it's got the game between... Let me just look for you people. West Ham and Leicester, the last one up. This is another exciting game, but I'm going to back Leicester to lose this one because I think West Ham with the home support, forever blowing bubbles, they'll get their home fans, really geared up for this one. And Leicester, obviously, the Wolves game was a bit more of an expected result, but I think this is one that can swing either way. Both sides got really good attacks, both obviously in the Europa League this season, and both fantastic managers. David Moyes and Brendan Rodgers could have easily won manager of the season last time. So I'm backing West Ham, but just because of the home support, I think. And also, I just think that West Ham, off the back of that matchup with Newcastle, they're going to just get into the flow of things. So West Ham 2, Leicester City 1. And in terms of goal scorers here, though, I'm going to say that West Ham do get the first goal. And that goal will come from none other than the midfield maestro. That is, of course, sitting in the middle, Declan Rice. And then in the Leicester City team, the goal will come from Jamie Vardy. He often does score against the Hammers. And then the goal for West Ham again will be one of Bowen or Antonio. But let's go Bowen. And that is how we are wrapping things up. Now, did you know that those two on the Monday Night Football game have actually averaged over 3 goals a game from their last 12 head-to-heads? So, fingers crossed, the Nets are going to ripple and it's going to be a cracker. But you know what Monday Night Football is often like. There can be a few 0-0 drubs there. Surely the Clarets can't be winning back-to-back games at Anfield. And it'll be interesting to see how the season kind of progresses from this point and how the weekend does, of course, finish. Watkins, watch out for him. He scored in the fixture against Newcastle last season. He could easily bag again. And I think the Bees are just going to be buzzing right now. They're in really good form and they're on their return to London. Once again, another London derby for them. And I think that it's going to be an interesting game, that Everton one. It could really swing either way. A lot of people are sitting on the fence, but I just back Leeds. I think with the home support that they haven't had for so long, they really could have used that last season and even got Europa League football. But I think City are so strong as well. They beat them in 2019, Norwich City at Carrow Road, but you've got to fancy them at the Etihad. And I think that the Brighton game has got a big chance of finishing 0-0. It's not a very high scoring fixture. Let's hope it's not a scoreless draw, because we need the points really. And also, Southampton, you've got to feel for them. They suffered heartache in both games against Man United, in the respect that they really should have got the job done. And of course, they lost that game 9-0. It'll be interesting to see, the game in the Midlands against Spurs. What reception does Santo get to return to his old home? And Thomas Tuchel, I think he's ready to guide this Chelsea team to a title charge, really, and get his first win over Arsenal in the Prem at this point in time. I mean, the stats in the West Ham game say that there'll actually be 3 goals, but which way will it swing? I've gone with a 2-1 West Ham win. So, yeah, those are my predictions. Hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on the video, and of course, get your score predictions in the comment section below. Yeah, that is it. We have had fun. It's been a good one. And make sure you do subscribe for more content on the Roberto the Hornet channel, of course. And I shall see you in the next one. Let me just check I've not missed anything. But I think we're all good. Yes. It's all good to go. Lovely stuff. So don't forget, Song of the Week and the phrase of the week we said at the start of the video too. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.